Agam and I are here to wrap the markets for you. Well, it started off by being a very, very boring day. The Nifty and the Sensex were absolutely flat, going just about nowhere after the strong 1% plus kind of gains that we saw on the back of Fed in action yesterday. Of course, but by the end of the trade, the Nifty slipped about 40 points at
But
close.
we still hung on to the 8,800 mark. I think that's the most important.
We have. But overall, Agam, even for all of September, we've hardly gone anywhere. There's hardly been any movement. And but Agam, you're going to give me a gist of what really transpired this week.
Sure. So just a few facts. Firstly, when it comes to the Nifty, we've seen about a 0.6% gain through the course of the week. So given the fact that we've seen no change in interest rates with respect to the Bank of Japan or the Federal Reserve, has also had very, very little impact on the Nifty, gaining just about 0.6%. When it comes to the range, that remains the same too. So we're looking at a range of 9,000 on the upside and 8,500 on the downside. That's based on the open interest, of course. And finally, when it comes to FII, surprisingly, they aren't going anywhere because we've had net buying of around 2,900 crores for this week. And remember, of course, this also includes the Castrol bulk deal, but we don't have today's numbers. And of course, yesterday's numbers are provisional. That said, we still had nearly $500 million coming into our Indian market. So that's something to keep an eye on, despite the fact that the benchmarks haven't really moved. So these are some of the facts that a lot of traders will keep an eye on going into trade next week.
And Agam, some of these inflows that you're talking about could probably be attributed to the ICICI Prudential IPO that we had, and this is what we were discussing last week. So that's all of what transpired for this week. What really happened today? Well, the global market saw some profit booking. So your Asia, European indices all were trading in the red. Another development just for today, something that I want to highlight is that some brokerages like CLSA and Morgan Stanley, both of them really reduced the India weightage in their portfolios. So that really did not help in terms of sentiments either. But coming back to the range-bound behavior that we were talking about, Agam, where is the activity concentrated as far as futures and options are concerned?
Again, given we've not seen any change whatsoever in benchmark indices, we really haven't seen anything going on in the options market either. So what stands out today is the 8,800 strike prices when it comes to calls or puts for that matter. Calls have seen unwinding after we saw the Nifty move up slightly, at least in the beginning of trade. On the other hand, the puts have seen a lot more increase towards open interest. So there you can see, denoted by the red mark, a substantial increase there. But as far as the range is concerned, that remains the same. And while we have seen an addition towards the futures of the Nifty and the Bank Nifty, there really isn't much to take home to. So we'll once again have to wait until next week whether or not we can see a little more, in terms of open interest. Remember, we are going to expiry, so it's going to be relatively volatile next week.
That's correct. If we look at the Nifty today, you already mentioned about the week. Well, we ended about 0.4% lower, and barring realty stocks, the realty sector, all sectors ended in red. So if you look at some of the losers, Axis Bank really stands out. A sharp 5.8% cut. That's a big cut coming in as far as Axis Bank is concerned. Some of the other losers included your cement names like ACC, you had Ambuja. Some of the pharma names like Lupin, Aurobindo also saw some profit booking. Of course, Aurobindo had seen a strong 6% sort of gains on the back of a tentative USFD approval yesterday. So that apart, you had some of the IT names like Infosys, which were trading on the losing side. On the gaining side, you had Reliance Industries, HCL Technologies, Dr. Reddy's, BPCL, some of these names that were holding on to their gains for the week. Also, if you look at it, Hindalco was the top gainer, Axis Bank has been the top loser. So significant movement as far as Axis Bank is concerned. We do not have confirmed reports, but there has been some buzz of Suti stake sale at around 550 price band is what we've been hearing. I don't know if that has been one reason for the kind of movement or downward movement that we have seen in Axis Bank. But Agam, mid caps continue to outperform even today. Very, very stock-specific actions that we were seeing. What caught your eye?
Yes, so firstly, I picked up a few counters on the F&O space. And you mentioned Axis Bank, so I'm going to mention the futures and options, position for Axis Bank as well. We've seen an addition of 11% towards open interest. And this is while Axis Bank has fallen 6% today. So a lot of shorts building up and a lot of bulls on this particular stock will have to be careful going into the next couple of days. That said, when it comes to the mid caps, of course, we have SRF. Now, that stock's moved up around 9.5% today, and we've seen a 35% increase in open interest. So a big amount of longs building up in there. Similarly, Jubilant Foodworks. Now, we're looking at a little bit of short covering there. So while we have only seen about a 2% increase there, and it's still below the 1,000 mark, we have seen an increase of as much as 13% as far as this, open interest build up in this particular series is concerned. So longs building up there as well. Other than that, we have Aarti Drugs gaining 8%. Schneider Electric and Amtech Auto. Amtech Auto building on yesterday's gains. So we have about a 2% gains in just 2 days now. Prestige Estates up 5.5%. NIT Technologies, Dalmia Bharat, as well as RB Infra also gaining in today's job trade. When it comes to some of the losers, we are keeping an eye on Dhanuka Agritech down 6%. Axis Bank, of course, is not a mid-cap, but still losing out on 6%. Markson Pharma, GVK Power, HCL Infosystems, along with Dishman Pharma, among some of the other losers. So on the whole, it's been a mixed day of trade, of course, naturally, given even the broader market indices haven't really done much. So that's something that we will be also looking forward to going to next week. But that's all that we have for the market wrap today. And do join us once again on Monday, where we will take you through yet another trading session. However, you guys will have to stay tuned into Bloomberg Quinn, because now we're moving into, thank God it's Friday, and we are going to be joined by Nilesh Shah of Envision Capital, who will tell us a lot more about markets and beyond that as well. So stay tuned in. We'll be back in just 5 minutes.